Hello class, this is Mr. Nelson here. I'm going to teach you about finding the area of a circle. Okay, so let's start with this first problem. The radius of a circle is 5 feet. What is the area of a circle? So, we're trying to find the area of a circle, and we're told the radius of a circle is 5 feet. Okay, so let's start with this concept right here, the area of a circle. Okay, the formula for the area of a circle is area equals pi r squared. Okay, now the A stands for area. So area is equal to, now pi is a ratio of the circumference of a circle to the diameter of a circle. And that ratio is always, no matter the circle, 3 to 1. And we can simplify that to 3. Now it's not exactly 3, but for our sake, we're going to just say that that's 3. Okay? And then we have the r, and the r is the radius. Okay, so we're going to 3 times the radius. Now, it's radius squared, which means that we actually have radius times radius. Okay, now if we go back to GEMS, GEMS is the order of operations. Okay, and r squared is the exponent, and exponent comes before multiplying. Okay, so we're going to have to do the exponent part before we do the multiplying by pi, which we're going to just say is 3. Okay, so let's go back over the problem and let's look at the other information that we're given. We're told that the radius of a circle is 5 feet. Okay, so let's draw a little diagram here. We've got a circle, and the radius is the distance from the center of the circle to any edge. So we'll say from there to there, and the distance we're told is 5 feet. So I'm going to put 5 feet there. Okay. So let's just plug that into our formula to solve. Okay. So that's the formula right there. We're going to substitute in and solve. So we're going to say, okay, A is actually equal to, well, instead of writing pi, I'm going to write 3. I'm going to substitute in times, and instead of r, I'm going to write 5 feet, and that's squared. Okay, so if you don't remember what 5 squared means, another way to write 5 squared is to write 5 times 5. Okay, the exponent tells us the number of 5s that we have, and we just multiply them all together. So we have 2 5s. Okay, so order of operations. I'm going to do the 5 squared first. So I'm going to bring the 3 down, and 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. So 25, and the units is going to stay squared, so it's 25 feet squared. So we're going to multiply these two together. Okay, so then the area is equal to 3 times 25. So our answer is going to be the area of this particular circle equals 75 feet squared. And the units are squared. Anytime we're solving for area, the units are going to be squared. Okay. Let's look at a second problem here. Okay, the diameter of a circle is 8 meters. What is the area of a circle? Okay, so the area of a circle, that's what we're trying to solve for. So our formula for area is the same. Area equals pi r squared. Okay, now let's look at the information that we're given. Okay, these are basically like the clues that we're given. So we're given that the diameter of a circle, D, equals 8 meters. So if I draw my little circle here, okay, I'm going to draw a little circle. The diameter is the distance from one side of the circle through the center of the circle to the other side of the circle. Okay? In this case, the diameter is 8 meters. Okay, now we got an issue here because our formula does not use diameter, it uses radius. So the first thing that we have to do is solve for radius. Okay, so the diameter is all the way across, and the radius is halfway across. So the radius has to be half of the diameter. So in this case, half of 8 meters is 4 meters. Now it's very important that we solve that first. We got to find r. So 4 meters equals r, which is the radius. The 8 meters was the diameter. Okay, so now that we solve for r, we can substitute into the problem. So I'm going to substitute and solve. The area equals, now remember pi, we talked about the previous problem, is a ratio, and it's roughly equivalent to 3. So we can put 3 in for pi. By the way, your formula chart does say that at the very bottom. Next time you look at the formula charts, just look at the bottom, and it will show you that pi equals roughly 3. Alright, so instead of r, we're going to substitute in. So we're going to put 4 meters squared. We're going to square this. Now just remember, this exponent right here tells us how many 4's that we're going to have. We just multiply them all together. So just another way to write this out is to say 4 meters times 4 meters. Okay, so we're going to solve exponent first because it comes first in the order of gems, and then we'll solve multiplication next. So area is going to equal 3, and 4 times 4 is 16. So 16, and the units are going to be squared. Okay, and then all we have to do is take 3 and multiply it by 16. Now if you can't do this in your head, that's fine. Just do it off to the side. So I have 16 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus the additional 1 is 4. So it's 48. Okay, so that means that our answer is area equals 48 meters squared. So really and truly, the way to solve these problems is just to find the proper formula, substitute in, make sure you're substituting in for pi and for r, for radius. Don't substitute the diameter and you'll get a completely different answer. Then you just solve. And remember the order of operations. Gems, groups first, exponent second, multiplication and division next, and then subtraction to Okay, and the last problem. The circumference is 42 centimeters. What is the area of a circle? Okay, so we're still finding the area of a circle. Okay, so the formula for the area of a circle, A equals pi r squared. Okay, now we have to look at the clues that we are given, and the clues are saying that the circumference is 42. Okay, now for our formula though, we don't need the circumference. We need to know pi, which we already know. Pi is 3. We need to know the radius, but we're not given that radius because we're trying to solve for area. So we need to find r. So we're going to have to use the clues that we're given. We know that the circumference is 42 centimeters. So if I just draw this out, just think about it for a second, that means the distance all the way around the circle is going to be 42 centimeters. Okay, well, I have a formula for circumference. Let's see if that helps. Now there's two formulas for circumference, and I'm trying to find radius. So I'm going to use the formula that involves radius. So circumference is equal to, and this is my formula, circumference is equal to 2 times pi times r. Okay? And I know the circumference is 42. So when I solve, I'm going to substitute in 42 centimeters for circumference. That equals 2 times pi. Now pi is 3, so I'm going to put a 3 times r. Okay, so the way that you could look at this problem is you could say, okay, 2 times 3 is 6. So what can I multiply by 6 to get 42? Because what I'm going to have to replace r with that number. So 6 times 7, I think, is 42. So that's one way to think your way through this problem, is to say, okay, 2 times 3 is 6. So I'm going to put 6. So 6 times r is going to equal 42 centimeters. And then you just go, okay, well, what can I multiply by 6? Well, it's 7. Okay, so r equals 7. Okay, now another way to look at this problem, this is kind of an advanced way to look at it that you're going to start learning next year. You're going to, let's go back to this problem right here. I'm just going to rewrite it off to the side. You're going to say 42 centimeters equals 6r. Now we want to get rid of the 6 on this side because you just want r. So the rule is whatever I do to the right side of the equation, whatever I do to this expression, I have to do this expression. So if I divide this expression by 6, then I have to divide this expression by 6. Okay, and 6 divided by 6 is 1, so they kind of cancel each other out. So I end up with just r over here, and 42 divided by 6 is 7. We get 7 centimeters there. Okay, so either way, add my units here. Either way, you're going to get the same answer. R equals 7 centimeters. Now, once you find your R, you're going to substitute it back into the original equation right here. So I'm going to substitute and solve. So my area equals pi, which is 3, times 7 centimeters, which is what we calculated down here. And we're going to square that. So 7 times 7 is going to give us 49. Okay, so equals 3 times 49 centimeters squared. Okay, and I'm going to do 3 times 49 off to the side, up over and over here. So let's see, 49 times 3. 9 times 3 is 27. Carry the 2. And 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So 147. So the answer is the area of this circle equals 147 centimeters squared. And what we found out is we're going to be given some kind of information to help us solve for the area of the circle. What we need to calculate or find is a radius. That's the only way we could find the area of a circle is with the radius. So whether you're given circumference or diameter, or you're just given the radius, you got to figure out the radius to substitute in, because any other number you substitute into this formula will not suffice. You will get an incorrect answer. So find the radius. All right, thank you and have a wonderful night.